May I request permission of the Honorable Chief Justice to commence the proceedings. Now may I request Learned Advocate General Sri Gopalakrishna Kurup for the ceremonial felicitation speech.
Honorable the Chief Justice of Kerala, Justice S. Manikumar, Honorable Justice C.T. Ravikumar, Judge Designate, Supreme Court of India, the Honorable Judges of the High Court of Kerala, the President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, the Chairman of the Bar Council of Kerala, the President Kerala High Court Senior Advocates Association, the President Federation of Women Lawyers Kerala High Court Unit, law officers of the state, Assistant Solicitor General, Senior Central Standing Counsel, Taxes, and other law officers of the central government, senior advocates, esteemed fellow members of the Bar, Registrar General, Registrars and staff of the High Court, staff of the Advocate General's Office, Advocate Clerks, Advocate Srimati Saira Ravikumar, ladies and gentlemen, and all other dignitaries joining online. Today, we have gathered here to bid farewell to Justice C.T. Ravikumar, Judge Designate, Supreme Court of India. The same, as is a milestone in the career of His Lordship, is also a historic occasion for this Honourable Court, when another of its learned judge is being elevated to the highest court of the country, that too directly from its bench. Your Lordship is the 15th Keralite to have been conferred with the esteemed opportunity to adorn the bench of apparently most powerful constitutional court in the world, the jurisdiction of which encompasses a subcontinent with more than 1,200 million people from diverse cultural, religious and linguistic backgrounds. About 12 and a half years ago, on 5/1/2009 to be exact, Your Lordship Justice C.T. Ravikumar's reply speech during the full court reference on the occasion of Your Lordship's elevation to the bench of this Honourable Court spoke thus, I quote, "Not to shatter, but to strengthen the trust of the people towards this temple of justice shall be my vow," unquote. Your Lordship's tread to the highest echelon of the judiciary in the country can definitely be with the full satisfaction that Your Lordship has been ardently adhering to the said vow. Born on 6/1/1960, Your Lordship graduated in law from the Government Law College, Kozhikode, and got enrolled as lawyer with Bar Council of Kerala on 12/7/1986. Your Lordship commenced practice as a lawyer in the courts at Mavelikara as junior to late Sri P.K. Vasudevan, who was a senior and respected member of the bar therein. Later, Your Lordship shifted practice to this Honourable Court as junior to late Senior Advocate Sri M.K. Damodaran, former Advocate General and a doyen of our bar. Your Lordship's practice before the Honourable Court, spanning over more than 2 decades, was inclusive of 2 stints as law officer of the Kerala State Government, first during 1996 to 2001, and then from 2006 till Your Lordship's elevation to the bench. The Government of Kerala had repeatedly reposed faith in Your Lordship's legal acumen and advocacy skills by appointing Your Lordship first as a government pleader, then as a senior government pleader, and later as a special government pleader. I had occasion to get myself acquainted from close quarters with Your Lordship's sincere and meticulous work culture as a lawyer, while we were both state law officers during 1999 to 2001. The senior staff at the Office of the Advocate General still remembers Your Lordship as a state law officer who had a consistent penchant for perfection, particularly in the matter of drafting of pleadings. It is said that focused hard work is the key to success. It's also said that successful people work hard and then succeed on purpose. Though Your Lordship's beginnings were humble and modest, Your Lordship had come up in life through sheer hard work with continued perseverance. That Your Lordship was thoroughly prepared with the cases listed before Your Lordship's court with relevant presidential case laws and even the minute factual details, often more than the lawyers representing the same, is reflective of how industrious your Lordship was as a judge. That nearly 400 judgments, laying down more than 1150 principles of law, mostly rendered by your Lordship or by bench of which your Lordship was a part, have been reported by legal journals as presidential case laws, speaks volumes for the tremendous effort put in by your Lordship in judicial work as a learned judge of this Honourable Court. That these judgments were in diverse fields of law, covering criminal, civil, constitutional, labour, service, cooperative society, Panchayat Raj Act, municipality, excise, provident fund, accident compensation cases and preventive detention matters further reinforces the same. Your Lordship's judgments are testimonials of your Lordship's absolute faith in the rule of law and compassion for the lesser privileged. It will be difficult to refer to all the judgments signifying your Lordship's judicial acumen, but I take this opportunity to refer to some of them. In Suresh Babu versus C.K. Mini and another, 2009 KHC 131, your Lordship, speaking for the division bench, held that if the husband's behaviour made it impossible for the wife to live in the house and she left the home, it could not constitute desertion. Your Lordship relied on the statutory principle that one should not be allowed to gain from his or her own flow in support of the said view. In Asia versus Hamid, 2009 2 KSC 366, your Lordship, speaking for the division bench, held that presumption of legitimacy of a child contemplated under Section 112 of the Evidence Act was rebuttable, but rebuttable only on the ground of non-access. In Manager, Oriental Insurance Company Limited versus Abdul Salim alias P.A. Salim and another, 2009 3 KHC 713, your Lordship, speaking for the division bench, held that injuries sustained due to physical attack by force while driving lorry was an incident that occurred in the course of employment, and the disablement cause could be construed to be due to an accident for the purpose of compensation. In Mini PK versus Abdullah Sir and others, 2010 KSC 1044, your Lordship, examined in the light of Rule 387 of the Motor Vehicles Rules 1989, the scope and meaning of the word considers, and held that same connoted an active application of mind and discussion on a matter in issue, assigning the reasons for arriving at the conclusions, thereby reflecting the application of mind. In Madhu KV and others versus Director General of Police and others, 2011 3 KHCs 462, while considering the challenge against en masse transfer of police personnel on administrative grounds, your Lordship held that courts could not adopt non-challenge when circumstances called for interference, and at times it might have to lift the veil to see the real nature of the reasons for the transfer. It was also held that untimely transfer would cause unrest, unbound difficulties and inconvenience to service personnel. In Girish Kumar and another versus C.S. Rajeshwari Amma and another, 2012 4 KHC 145, your Lordship held that the concurrent findings of fact based on illegal appreciation of evidence could not be called a question of fact, but it was a question of law for the purpose of Section 397 CRPC, and that therefore the High Court could interfere under its revisional jurisdiction. In Sridharan T and others versus State of Kerala and another, 2016 KHC 41, your Lordship, while speaking for the division bench, examined the meaning of lacuna and held that a lacuna in the prosecution was not be equated with the fallout of an oversight committed by a public prosecutor during trial. In Rashid and K versus Food Inspector Talasheri and another, 2016 2 KSC 679, your Lordship, while speaking for the division bench, examining the scope of Section 3 of the Kerala High Court Act 1958, held that a learned single judge, while referring a case to a division bench, could neither decline to refer any other particular question if it actually arises for consideration, nor decide any of the issues or any of the questions of law involved in that referred case by the order of reference, and also held that observations, reasons, or findings, if any in an order of reference passed under Section 3 of the Act, were not binding on the parties, and it would be open to the division bench to consider the entire matter. Your Lordship also explained as to what was meant by ratio decidendi and elucidated as to what was a precedent in the said judgment. In United India Insurance Company Limited v. Ernakulam versus Bina Patros and others, 2017 2 KHC 577, Your Lordship, while speaking for the division bench, examined the scope and purport of the word consortium in the context of awarding damages for loss of consortium in motor accident compensation. In National Insurance Company Limited versus North Paravur versus Sajeev and others, 2018 1 KHC 795. Your Lordship, while speaking for the division bench, held that the judgment of a criminal court based on pleading guilty by itself could not be a ground for holding negligence against such a party in a claim petition. In Kshatriya Kshema Sabha versus Election Commission and others, 2019 4 KHC 231. Your Lordship, for the division bench, examined the meaning of Purapada Shanti and held that any person whose name was entered in the electoral roll of any constituency would be entitled to vote in that constituency only, and that this Honourable Court could not issue a writ of mandamus for providing a polling station inside a temple premise. The Bangalore Principles of Judicial Conduct 2002 identified judicial independence, impartiality of judicial office, integrity, propriety, competence, and diligence as essential traits underscoring values of judicial ethics. Your Lordship is known for rendering judgments uninfluenced by any public perception. The judgments speak volumes for your Lordship's competence and diligence. Your Lordship has always maintained absolute integrity and discharge of the functions attached to the exalted office of a High Court judge. Your Lordship ensured equal treatment to all who had appeared before Your Lordship, highlighting various causes of their clients, irrespective of their standing at the bar. Your Lordship has been upholding principles of propriety ritualistically in all Your Lordship's activities as a judge and otherwise. Your Lordship's wife, Srimati Saida Ravikumar, a member of our bar, daughters, Advocate Srimati Neetu Ravikumar and Kumari Neenu Ravikumar, son-in-law Advocate Sri Sabarish Subramanian, and granddaughter Aravi are present on this occasion. I also share the happiness of this momentous occasion with Your Lordship's family. On behalf of the entire lawyer community of the state, I wish Your Lordship fruitful and meaningful tenure in the Apex Court. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now let me invite the Learned President, Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Sri Thomas Abraham, for the felicitation speech.
Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Ravikumar, our Honorable Judges, Mr. Justice, Mrs. Advocate Saida Ravikumar and other family members of Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Ravikumar, Advocate General Mr. K. Gopalakrishna Kurup, Mr. Joseph John, Chairman, Bar Council of Kerala, Additional Advocate Generals, Mr. Ashok M. Cherian and Mr. K.P. Jayachandran, Director General of Prosecution Mr. T. A. Shaji, Assistant Solicitor General Mr. P. Vijay Kumar, State Attorney Sri Mr. N. Manoj Kumar, respected elder members of the fraternity, Registrar General and other officers of this court, advocate clerks, and dear friends. Every one of us present here is sharing this moment of exhilaration as we are all witnessing a very unique occasion which imparts a genuine feeling of pride for just being a member of this fraternity. But I'm sure all of us are having a mixed feeling, which is quite usual in any occasion of parting and bidding farewell. The reminiscences often can take us to the shade of sadness, as any good word or deed of the past from the person who leaves us will become a cause for concealed tears on recapitulation. How the efforts of an individual can result in bringing glory to the institution, which is fortunate to have him in its lap, is what exactly these moments make each one of us experience. Justice Thurgood Marshall, the renowned erudite judge of the Supreme Court of the United States, said, quote, "A man can make what he wants of himself, and if he truly believes that he must be ready for hard work and many heartbreaks," unquote. Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Ravikumar is a proud example of how a person opting to join the legal profession can get his dreams come true through committed endeavor. But colorful dreams about future will remain as dreams alone without hard work is also reminded by the systematic growth of his lordship. From the career his lordship started as a junior to late P.S. Vasudevan, a senior and respected advocate of the Bavelikana Bar. The right decision his lordship made while shifting his practice to this honourable court in opting to join the office of former Advocate General and Senior Counsel, late M.K. Damodaran, was very crucial in his lordship's steady growth in the career. Every step of his success is marked by the hard toil he did, and his life is a textbook for all aspiring for success in the legal profession. It is the beads of sweat on the brow that has turned into sparkling gems on the crown that adorns him now. I can cite some instances of his lordship's simplicity and genuine interest in being helpful in situations warranting such approach to problems. A few weeks back, when I met him with a complaint that the area behind the Golden Jubilee Chamber complex is untidy and is gradually turning into a dangerous haven of poisonous snakes and rodents, as a chairman of the building committee, I expected his lordship only to issue some direction to the officers concerned to do the needful. But I was rather shocked when his lordship offered to visit the spot then and there itself. And such an act of his lordship exposes before us several aspects of his lordship's personality which remain unknown to most of us. The position one holds and the power one wields is not to be kept idle for its gradual rusting, which would convert the person concerned into a negative and dangerous person in the society. The higher the position, the danger is more. His lordship could have just satisfied me and other office bearers of the Bar Association by promising us that he would take action then itself, and we would have been totally happy about it also. But I am sure, just out of the natural instincts, his lordship acted in the manner in which you can expect only from a rare few. It is this natural instinct that every person should inculcate, especially when he or she gets opportunity to initiate any positive step in the service of anybody around him or her. That exactly is what is expected out of every judge, as there cannot be a trend of getting trapped in the fantasies of bureaucratic style of functioning. This genuine instinct in his lordship has contributed a lot in the functioning of KELSA. Several unwelcome practices were stopped forever, and KELSA ventured into new areas, gaining appreciation of multitudes as the marginalized sections are now getting benefits from the services rendered by KELSA. The leadership of his lordship, Justice C.T. Ravikumar, has contributed considerably in these welcome changes in the functioning of KELSA. I can vouchsafe this because every meeting of KELSA which I attended revealed numerous novel projects which can get acceptance only from a chairman like Justice C.T. Ravikumar, who had such perceptions about the activities of the organization which he expected to function with such laudable objectives. A tusker for whom his tusk became a cause of agony and pain was assisted through KELSA by shortening his tusk, a decision which sent a beautiful message across the country that such institutions are meant for a wide choice of good decisions and actions. The onerous duty of dispensation of justice should always be viewed as a chance for doing service to the society. In these days, when the executive is trying to dominate over the independence of the judiciary, our Constitution requires every judge to be bold, upright, and fearless in all respects. this whole nation, consisting of crores and crores of hapless poor citizens, look up to a handful of persons at the hem of the apex court to save them from the disasters which they face in the form of arbitrary exercise of power, draconic legislations clearly in conflict with the constitutional mandates, wherein a judge alone can boldly say no with a capital N. Such freedom, or rather boundless powers, are vested in judges by the founding fathers of our Constitution, expecting persons with willpower, commitment, integrity, character and understanding commitment to the cause of the people and protection of their invaluable rights to enter the portals of the Honourable Supreme Court of India. It is these virtues that this country expects from your Lordship while being elevated to the exalted office of the Judge of the Honourable Supreme Court of India. Public confidence in the court is a fundamental proposition. Without that, the court cannot discharge its essential responsibilities. The duty of the courts is to do justice while exhibiting fairness, respect and dignity to the people who come before it. A judge is a fulcrum on which our entire justice system balances, which in turn is the cornerstone of the democratic nation. A judge's role is to serve the community in the pivotal role of administering justice according to law. Freedom, peace, order and good government, the essentials of society we treasure, depend on the ultimate analysis on the faithful performance of a judicial duty. It is only when the community has confidence in the integrity and capacity of a judiciary that the community is governed by the rule of law. Public confidence in the court is dependent on the decisions of the court being of the highest caliber, reasoned and principled, produced in timely manner and free from any bias, actual or apparent. The list of the fine judgments authored by Honourable Mr. Justice C.T. Ravikumar speaks for itself about the dedication with which he carried on his constitutional duty while remaining conscious of the social realities. His Lordship has always been acknowledged for being a pleasant yet forthright and upfront person. He is also a hard-working judge, known for giving a patient hearing to everyone. His Lordship's judgments are testimony of the fact that he decides according to law, and as a pragmatic judge, assesses the consequences of the judicial decisions to be rendered. At the same time, he has shown liberal attitude in dispensing justice to the underprivileged and vulnerable groups in the society. I should hastily add that your Lordship's elevation to the post of a judge of this Honourable Court in 2009 has been the cause of a loss to the High Court Bar Association, as we lost the services of a promising former Vice President of this association, Srimati Advocate Saira Ravikumar, as she rightly decided not to continue her active practice in this Honourable Court after your Lordship's elevation. But we join her and others in the family in these moments of their delight. We wish that your Lordship may have a fruitful term in the apex court, and we will all be watching with extreme happiness the moments of your Lordship adorning the highest scene of justice. That every second of your Lordship's tenure bring prestige to this small state of ours situated in the southernmost corner of this vast country. Your Lordship, I assert, we are all eagerly waiting to hear the encomiums showered on your Lordship and all your future accomplishments, from which members of this bar would certainly be boundlessly rejoiced. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. May I request Honourable the Chief Justice for the felicitation speech.
Honourable Brother Justice C.T. Ravikumar, my esteemed brother and sister judges, Mr. K. Gopala Krishna Kurup, Learned Advocate General, Mr. Ashok Cherian and Mr. K.P. Jayachandran, Learned Advocates, Additional Advocates General, Mr. Shaji, Director General Prosecutions, Mr. Gracious Kuriakos, Additional Director General Prosecutions, Mr. Manoj Kumar, Learned State Attorney, Mr. Vijayakumar, Leonard, Assistant Solicitor General of India, Mr. Joseph John, Chairman Bar Council of Kerala, Mr. Thomas Abraham, President of the Kerala High Court Association, Mr. Renan Sugunavalan, Leonard Senior Advocate and President of the Senior Advocates Association, Srimati S.K. Devi, President of the Kerala Federation of Women Lawyers, respected senior lawyers, my junior friends, Registrar General and other registrars of this court, Srimati Saira Ravikumar and other family members of Justice Ravikumar, staff of this court, members of the Clerks Association, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all. Firstly, I congratulate Honorable Brother Justice C.T. Ravikumar on his elevation to the Honorable Supreme Court. I am informed that Justice Ravikumar is the 5th judge of the Kerala High Court who has the rare distinction to reach the apex court without holding the office of Chief Justice. After 10 years of practice, Justice Ravikumar was appointed as Government Pleader in 1996, thereafter as Senior Government Pleader, and after a short interval, he was appointed as Special Government Pleader in February 2007. Recognizing his hard work and dedication, he was elevated to the bench of this court on 5/1/2009 and made permanent on 15th December 2020. Functioning as a judge of this court, he has rendered several landmark judgments. Law reports would vouch the legal acumen of Brother Justice Ravikumar. This is not confined to any branch of law, and I have no hesitation to say that the onerous duties of the highest judiciary in the country would be performed to the satisfaction of the litigants, members of the bar, and the country. A successful man has to put in hard work, dedication to duty, and should be humble. His qualities, Brother Justice C.T. Ravikumar has earned his berth in the apex court. On the administrative side, Justice Ravikumar served as a member and chairman of various committees. He was the president of the Kerala State Judicial Academy, president of the Kerala State Mediation and Conciliation Center, and executive chairman of the Kerala State Legal Services Authority. Analyzing the contribution of Brother Justice Ravikumar in various capacities, I have no hesitation to say that he has the ability to foresee the future of the institutions, High Court of Kerala and District Judiciary. During his tenure, the committees have reached the poor, marginalized to reach the goal, access to justice for all. To quote a few, publication of Nyamapadam in Malayalam, English and Tamil, online program for civil service aspirants, awareness campaign on Dowry Prohibition Act to several thousands of people in the state, so on and so forth. As a judge of this court, Justice Ravikumar has rendered all possible assistance that the institution and the legal fraternity expected from a judge in discharging his constitutional functions. As far as I am concerned, I am personally indebted to Justice Ravikumar for his able guidance and assistance given to me on the administrative side while dealing with various complicated matters. A considerate and compassionate human being, Brother Justice Ravikumar has always been a source of immense support to me in wading through the toughest times. Adorning with a disarming smile, he has won the hearts of the legal fraternity. While bidding farewell to Brother Justice Ravikumar, I, on my own behalf, and on behalf of my colleagues on the bench, and on behalf of the entire High Court, extend congratulations and best wishes to him for a very successful tenure as Judge of the Supreme Court. I wish him, his family members, good health, long life, and all the best in his life. Thank you.
Thank you, my Lord. Now may I invite Honorable Justice C.T. Ravikumar for the reply speech.
my pranamam to the Almighty for blessing me with love. The Honorable the Chief Justice, Sri S. Manikumar, my esteemed sister and brother judges, Sri Govalakshna, the Learned Advocate General, Sri Thomas Abraham, President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Sri P. Vijaykumar, Assistant Solicitor General of India, Sri Joseph John, Chairman of the Bar Council of Kerala, Sri Ashok M. Cherian and Sri A. Chandran, Additional Advocate Generals, Sri T. H. Shaji, Director General of Prosecution, Sri Gracious Kyriakos, Additional Director General of Prosecution, Sri N. Manoj Kumar, State Attorney, Sri P. K. Ravindra Menon, Senior Counsel of Government of India Taxes, Sri N. N. Gopalan, President of the Senior Advocates Association, Srimati S. K. Devi, President of the Kerala Women Lawyers Association, distinguished senior advocates, law officers of the Union and State governments, elder and younger brothers and sisters of the Bar, Registrar General, Registrar District Judiciary, and other registrars of this court, Sri Nisar Ahmad, Member Secretary of KELSA, members of the District Judiciary, dear staff members, my dear friends at the Bar, advocates, clerks, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me express my deep gratitude to the Honorable the Chief Justice, the Learned Advocate General, and the President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association for their kind words of appreciation. At this moment of happiness, I proceed with the memories of my parents. Father, late Sri K. Uttavan, was bench clerk in Judicial First Class Magistrate Court, Changanasheri. And my mother, late Srimati B.T. Saraswati, and also my elder sister, late Sri Radhamani, whose blessings from the heavenly abode takes me to this profession, to this position. For my parents-in-law, late Satyabalan Komat and late Prachobani, I was not a son-in-law. They loved me as their son. I bow before the memories of my gurus, late Sri P.S. Vasudevan, with whom I started my practice, and late Sri M.K. Damodaran, former Advocate General, who really shaped me as a lawyer, and I should say a person eligible for elevation. In that context, I could not forget the role of Sri C.P. Sudhara Prasad, former Advocate General. My brothers and sisters and my in-laws and sister-in-laws, their care and love was always a source of strength to me. I should say that at the very outset itself, I am grateful to the Collegium of the Honorable Supreme Court for having reposed faith in me. And I should also make a mention about the person who is actually responsible for shifting of practice to this institution, none other than Justice K.G. Balakrishnan. About my family, my wife Sarah, I have never seen her praying for herself. She always prayed for me and my children. That is the real gift, the first gift God gave to me. My daughters, Ninu Ravikumar, son-in-law, Advocate Sabari Subramaniam, and my granddaughter Arvi. Their love, care, and support may always have been beyond determinable boundaries. I've been in this institution for more than 12 and a half years. During this period, I have obtained immense help and support from all the staff members of this institution and all my Chief Justices and my present Chief Justice, Ravikumar. They all granted extensive support to me, guided me, and I think that I could reach this post with their help, with their support, and able advice. I am thankful to each of them who gave me their heartfelt support. I express my deep gratitude to the registry, including all former registrars general, the present incumbent Sophie Thomas, the former registrars, Registrar Subordinate Judiciary, the present Registrar Judiciary, Sri P. Ajit Kumar, and all other former and present registrars. I recall with gratitude the services rendered by Sri T. S. Arun, Public Relations Officer and his team, Sri Ashok, the Protocol Officer and his team, Sri Shaju K. Varghese, the Security Officer, Sri K. C. Srinivas, Superintendent of Vehicles, Srimati Deepa V., the Chief Librarian, and the staff members and all other sections of this institution. I also extend my gratitude to Dr. Kishore and his team of the High Court Dispensary. In my speech, when I took oath on 5/1/2019, I said that I would not do anything to shatter the faith of the people in the judiciary. I assert the same in this moment also. I had the privilege to serve as the president of Kerala Judicial Academy. I also had the privilege to serve as the executive chairman of the Kerala Legal Services Authority and as the patron of the Kerala Mediation and Conciliation Center. I got the support of our brother and sister judges. I'm sure that it is their support that made me to discharge the functions effectively in those capacities. I should be very thankful to each one of them. This erudite bar made me eligible for elevation. If you assay the reason of success of giants of this bar, you can find acidity and hard work are the reasons of their success. Hence, my humble request to the junior members of the bar to emulate them on that, and there is no shortcut in this profession, which is exciting, and at the same time, one that is offering exaltation. While accepting the honor given to me, I wish each one of you all success in your way. I recollect with gratitude the services rendered to me by my private secretaries, Srimati Sudha Panikar, Srimati Sunita, Srimati Srilata, who served me with a deep sense of loyalty and sincerity. My court officers, Sri Radhakrishna Pilla and Srimati Chitra, were dedicated and efficient in discharging their duties. My personal assistants, Srimati Shirley Mary PC, and Srimati Smita Das AC, were active and hardworking. The additional personal assistants, Srimati Jamila, Srimati Dhanalakshmi, Srimati Preeti P. Nair, and Srimati Anandavalli, who served me whenever needed and were also competent and sincere. My gratitude is due to Sri Johnson, Sri Joby Joseph, Sri Levin Kumar, who were my office attendants in court, and Sri Aravinda Babu, Sri S. Krishnan, Srimati Sulapha, Srimati Simla, Srimati Renuka, Sri Martin, and Srimati Sindhu in my residence for their sincerity and commitment in discharging their duty. I place on record my appreciation to my research assistant, Srimati Anuvivi, for helping me in legal research. I also acknowledge the dedicated services rendered to me by my professors, Sri Harikumar P. and Sri Manu. All my police security officers, including my present officers, Sri Munir NB and Sujit V, for their protective and dedicated service. I also acknowledge all other members, staff members who helped me in different ways during my service. I should also be thankful to the members of our Advocate Clerks Association, because for a long time, they also actually helped me in many ways while I was a practicing lawyer. If I missed out to anybody who cared me for my high stature in life, it is not deliberate. I convey my gratitude to each one of you. Before parting, let me once again recall my abundant gratitude, love, affection to everyone present there. Due to this pandemic period, I should say, stay safe in the house, keep distance. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, my lord. The farewell ceremony is over. Thank you all. Jai Hind.